So Atrium's got a new launcher and chat UI. You can see it running here in the background. I've got it running on Sonnet Medium. Atrium was originally built to be a great workspace for CLI-based tools, but there are just so many capabilities that chat UI itself gives us in terms of how we present the information to the user and how we interact with it. So you can see it running here. We've got subagents. We've got full drill-in for subagents, which something I stole straight from the CLIs. I wanted to build this with as much parity with the CLI tools as possible. I love Claude Code. I love Codex. I think they're really powerful. I think a lot of the bleeding edge capabilities come from these CLI harnesses, but they also offer us an SDK, and Codex is an app server, and most of the other harnesses support ACP. So we can present that information to users in a much more user-friendly way, in a way that allows us to interact with it way better. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to build it into Atrium, and I am loving it so far. Our users are loving it. I think it's a really powerful way to interact with AI. I think in many ways it is more powerful than most of the chat UIs out there that I've used. It has a lot of capabilities, a lot of customization, as always with Atrium. Configurability, customization is essential to everything that we build in here. So it gives you all sorts of ways to view the information. You can change your width. You can collapse tool calls automatically, or you can expand them all if you want to see everything the agent is doing. You can, of course, expand them in line, as you would expect. But you can also auto-expand only file changes, which is really useful. I have that enabled by default. That's my favorite way to view things, collapse all the noisy tool calls and just see what files it's editing. But you can also add regex rules that allow you to automatically expand certain commands. So like I like to automatically expand Atrium's memory commands and skill invocation. So I have those two enabled. And you can do many, many more things. Whatever tool calls you want to automatically expand, they're there. Any changes that happen in the session, they show up in the drawer. The drawer is very multi-purpose. It shows you changes. It shows you your subagents, which you can drill into. It shows you background shells, which you can drill into. Very, very useful. The composer itself looks pretty simple, but it's actually got a lot of capabilities. I can @mention pretty much anything in Atrium. If I hit the @ symbol, I can reference files. I can search for rooms. Let's see, I don't know what. There we go. We got some rooms here. Let's find another one. Let's see, inbox. I can drop an inbox view in here, and it will reference that. It'll give the agent a pointer for how to load all of that content. It doesn't get dumped in automatically, so the agent can determine if it wants to load it or needs to load the content or not. Very useful. If I add like an image, let's see. If I add an image here, I get thumbnails with a preview. This was a bug that I hit, and I was sharing a screenshot with an agent earlier, and it gets injected into your chat as well with lightbox support. It'll load video, it'll load files, everything PDF. So all of that's very powerful. We've got our context view, which shows you your 5-hour and weekly limits, your context window. In the case of Claude, we get a nice like detailed breakdown of all of our context as well. Codex and Grok and other harnesses have a little bit more limited information, but we render everything that we can. We've got goal mode. The Claude SDK lets you use remote control. So mobile app is coming for Atrium eventually, but in the meantime, you can still use Claude's remote control, which is really cool. We've got all of our permissions, of course, and our model and sliders and everything. And we've got, of course, you got to have the pretty ultra code effort level. So we've got all that, and we've got voice dictation, which works really good. It uses Apple's speech recognition, but there's a lot of wiring under the hood to make sure that it works really, really smoothly, make sure it captures everything that you're saying. This is push to talk. You can also toggle it on, and boom, just gets dumped in. We've also got GPT real-time and Grok real-time support coming. You can add files. You can add a QA capture. If you haven't seen my video on QA capture, check it out. It's super cool. And yeah, that's our chat UI. There's a lot of stuff here that's really useful. You've got your navigator on the side, of course. We virtualize everything, so you can have a conversation that's a bajillion lines long, and it will not take up any more memory than it needs to render what it needs to. It'll load up super quick, and a lot of cool optimizations. I don't know if you saw my post recently about the bug I was running into with a little bit of flickering, but like really cool optimizations that make it run super, super smooth and super fast. And you can see all your injected session context, try to be as transparent as possible. And you've got rewind support, of course, as well. No code changes there. That's the chat UI. I want to talk about it a little bit. I want to show you the launcher as well, which is really cool. This is your entry point into the chat UI. We've got the ability to ask an agent about Atrium, which loads up a teaching skill that we've got in Atrium. We can file a bug report, which will post straight to Atrium issues with your approval, or you can just take the report that it generates and dump it in Discord or DM me or whatever it is. As I mentioned, you can switch between chat and terminal mode, which is really cool. So you're not restricted to chat UI. If you really want a CLI capability that I haven't built, I think I've covered a lot of the core ones, but if there's something missing or you just like the CLI, you can set that and it'll set it as your default going forward. And as always, as before, you can select your vendor and your launch profile. These are totally customizable. You can add new ones, you can edit them, you can customize, and you've got your picker and everything else. You can restore a session. You can launch directly into a work tree, a new one or an existing one. So everything you should need, I think, from chat UI is here. Super, super powerful, great experience. All our users are loving it. I'm loving it. And yeah, I think this takes Atrium to the next level. The CLI was really cool, but it was MVP solution. I really did want a chat UI, even though I love the CLI harnesses, but a chat UI just gives us so much more capability. I've got some really cool plans in here as well. We've already got like our canvas renderer, which can render JSON render content. I'm going to build that into the chat UI. So I've actually got a working prototype where an agent can just wrap something in a fence, and it'll render JSON render UIs directly in the chat UI that you can interact with, send your response directly from that UI back to the agent, make it very, very interactive. They can render charts, they can render anything. I'm even contemplating allowing them to render just pure HTML into the chat UI. It's obviously going to be a performance thing that I got to make sure works smoothly before I ship it to any of the users. So yeah, we've got a powerful chat UI. Check it out. I hope you like it. It's really, really cool. I'm really proud of it. And yeah, if you haven't seen us yet, if you haven't tried Atrium out yet, get atrium.dev. Check it out. Give me your feedback. Love to hear what you guys think. See ya.